a complete inventory management system inside Excel. Hi, this is Randy with Excel for Freelancers, and in this week's video, I'm going to show you how to create this incredible inventory management complete with sales orders, purchases, products, customers, suppliers, and a whole lot more. I'm going to show you an incredible way to add brand new customers, suppliers, or products that I've never taught before. It's going to be an incredible training you won't want to miss. We're going to do it all from scratch. Every design element from scratch right in front of you, starting from a blank worksheet. I cannot wait, so let's get started. All right, thank you so much for joining us today. I've got a really epic training today that you are not going to want to miss. The inventory management system. It's going to be absolutely complete with a dashboard. We are going to be able to add, update, and sales orders. We're going to have that. We're going to have purchase orders. We'll be able to add and update purchase orders. Products, you're going to be able to add, update, search for products. And also we are going to have suppliers and customers, all of them on the same sheet. And best of all, we're going to build that all from scratch, designed completely from scratch, right in front of you today. So it's going to be an epic training. You're not going to want to miss that. In fact, I asked just a few things for you. If you could go ahead and click that subscribe, and also make sure the notification icon bell. I create these trainings each and every Tuesday, something incredible with Excel, because I want to make you successful with Excel and not just teach you Excel. We build these application templates each and every week. It's absolutely free. All you need to do is click the link in the download description there, and I'll make sure to get this workbook template over to you. If you do want to support the channel, so many great ways to do that. In fact, I'll be creating an update to this template just as I do each and every week. So if you have some ideas you want to add that I didn't quite add in this training, you want something me to focus on, or you want me to fix something, I do that on our Patreon platform and now also YouTube. All you need to do is just go ahead and click the link for Patreon, and I'll create a brand new updated workbook along with the brand new updated training each and every week. Next Monday, I'll be doing that. So make sure you get your suggestions in and join the platform. Joining that platform also allows you to get tons of other benefits, including a PDF codebook that helps you know exactly what type of code is in these applications. Along with early bird specials, you'll get access to the workbook and training early, and a whole bunch of other things. So that's on Patreon, and that helps support the channel. All right, let's get started. This is what we are going to be creating. We're going to be creating an inventory management system. We can simply search for a customer. We'll have a search for customer. We can be able to add a brand new customer if we want to. In fact, we're going to be using something that I've never used before. Adding a brand new customer is just as easy as we can do this. We can just simply add it in if we want to do that, and adding in an address here. And then all we need to do is just click a check, and that customer is going to be added in automatically. So if we want to search for that, we can see that we have now that search. So really, really cool search features. Not only are we going to be able to do that, but we're going to be able to add, update, and delete records with this brand new method that I've never taught before. Not only for customers, we're going to be able to have that same feature for suppliers. If we want to add a brand new supplier, we can do that. And I'm also going to have that for products. In fact, we're going to have, here's products. If we want to do that for products, we can search for any type of product, just search there, and then the filter is going to come through. So each customer, supplier, and product will have add new, will have update, will have filters and search. And if that's not enough for a training, we're going to have purchases. We're going to be able to create brand new purchase orders. We'll be able to put in a supplier. We will be able to add items that we're purchasing here simply by selecting the items, and we're going to be able to save and update that. Also, we're going to be able to do the same for sales orders. Sales orders, we're going to be able to add a customer here. Again, adding that product here, selecting from a drop-down list of products. We're going to be able to have that. And then, of course, we're going to be able to save and update that. We'll be able to also search for sales orders, search for, if we want to search for previous, we can simply do that. We can do the same thing for purchases and sales. And to top it all, well, of course, we'll be able to print the order, add and save and update, and top it all off, we're going to have a dashboard. Dashboard is going to show our total sales by month, May profit, 2000 current year profit, the top products on hand, purchases by month, and a whole lot. So we're going to be doing all the design from scratch, and we'll see. We're going to get to all the code as well. I'm going to show you every single part. It's going to be probably a little bit longer training than usual because it's a big application. You're welcome to watch this training as many times as you want. We're going to show you all the design aspects. I'm going to start from an absolute blank workbook. I've got a blank workbook right here. Actually, it's a blank worksheet, but I still have the data. So we're going to go over the data inside that. Just a brief overview of the data. We've got an admin screen with just a few settings. We've got some sales tax defaults, months, and a date range I'm considering using. We have some dashboard data. This is the data that's going to cover for our dashboard. I've got a customer list. This is the original list of our customer. We've got suppliers. We've got a product list. We've got an order list. And we have order items. So these are the items that are associated with every single order. So we have all of that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one. We're going to start from scratch on this one, in which we have this inventory management. This is the main sheet that we have here in this workbook here. However, this workbook, it's all programmed out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this template and I'm going to slide it over to the side on another screen that I have. That way we can focus on the blank one and I can use the one as a reference. Okay, so we're going to get started right away. What's the first thing we want to do? Well, we want to really use two columns, just as I do in other applications. Two columns are going to be for admin. I'm going to drop this down here so I can show the tabs and commands, because we're going to be working a lot with the formatting and things like that. These columns are going to be hidden, so we're going to use these for admin purposes and then we'll hide them. Okay, so another thing, what I want to do is I want to add a title here, but this title here for the group, what's called inventory management, we are going to use, I'm going to use a shape, a text shape for that, because I don't want it cell-based. I don't want it cell-based. So we're going to call this, again, inventory management system. And I'll probably spell a few things wrong, so bear with me. I'll do my best. Shape format, I want to center that and put it in the middle. And I want to give it a probably, let's say 30. We're going to use this color. This is going to be our standard color. I'm going to give it this. And then I'll bold it, and then I'll put it in just a font that's similar to something like Arial Random Font. Okay, I like that. That looks good. Now we're going to also have a logo, and I'll put some shapes in and things like that in a little bit later. I want button sets to go across here. As you saw, we're going to have 6 different button sets for customers. So we're going to add those and then the icons associated with that. Okay, but first of all, on this, I do not want any fill. So we're going to go shape fill on this one, no fill, and I want no outline on this. So we'll do no outline. Okay, so we're going to have a background that we're going to use on this, a nice background. We'll use a page layout, and then a background, we'll be putting in a background. Now, what does that background look like? Well, I've already got it stored. I'm going to work offline. I don't know why that always comes up, and I'm going to use this background that I have. Okay, so that's kind of a nice background, and we'll get rid of the grid lines in a bit. So what I want to do is I want to put in some additional shapes right here, saving our work as we go along, as we always want to do. Now, those shapes that we're going to be using, we're just going to use this background. So I'm just going to insert shape. I'm just going to use this square shape, and this is the one that we're going to be using for our menu. Okay, we're going to give it a color. The shape fill, we're going to use this same color. I don't need a line on this shape, so we're going to say no outline on this. I want a size, so we're going to do, let's say 0.6, and then we'll do a width of 2.2. Okay, so that's good. I like the way that's the size of that. Then I want to give it some labels in here. So we're going to do customers. So I'm going to call this customers. This will be our first one. And then I am going to, let's say, right justify it and put it in the middle. So that's about what I want. But what I want to do is I want to put a little bit of a spacer in between that and also increase the font. Font size we'll set to 18. Okay, that looks good. Well, we can also, another way to do it is just to center it, or left justify it and then move it over. So maybe we want to move it over a little bit. Many ways we can do it. We want to space, we want to leave room for the icon in here. So we're going to add that in. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and right justify it, and then we'll give it a nice margin. So we're going to use Control F1 to add that. We'll go into the text options here, and we're going to give it a right margin. So what we want to do is right around 0.2. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so I want to have room for the icon. So there we've got our customers. Now what we're going to be doing is I'm going to duplicate that, and then we're going to create them for each button. So I'm going to use Control D, and then I'm going to space it out accordingly, right about like here, and then Control D one more time, D, D, and D. Okay, I like the way that looks. So we've got, this one's going to be for customers. We're going to add this one for suppliers. So we'll put in suppliers. Then we want another one button for products. So put in the products here. We need another, want to show, this one's going to be for our purchases. or purchase orders is another way to do it. And then another one we want to use for our sales order. And lastly, for our dashboard. Okay. So now that we've got all that, we're going to put in our icons also. So now that we have everything set up just the way we like it, as far as the button's concerned, we also want connector lines. That's going to help us too. I also want to give these unique names so that we can work on that, and that's going to help us win the code. So this one's going to be called menu item 1. And then I'm just going to copy the menu item text here and hit enter. That's going to name that button. I'm going to go here to the second one and put 2. Likewise, this one's going to be 3. This is going to help us in the code because we're going to be looping through these buttons. We want to change the color. So by having very similar names, it will help us run a loop through that. And I'll be showing you that. And this one, last one's 5. So we have 6 different buttons, all with very similar names. Just the number of them is different. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'll add a little bit more spacing on the right side so that we all have unique spacing on that. We can format that. That's another way to do that. Going into the text options, we're going to make this 0.3. Okay, so that moves them over a little bit to the right margin. So we have a little more spacing. We're going to add in our icons and we're going to add in some connector lines. So I'm going to insert shapes and then a line. And then what we'll do is we'll connect it here and here. Although they don't necessarily have to be connected, we are going to give the shape outline the same color. And also I want the size, the weight of it's going to have to be right around, let's say 3 point or something like that. That looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it. And then I'll move it over here. And we can do the same thing. We can use connectors, and that way when we space them out, everything has to be connected. You can also use Control D. That's also going to work. Again, just connecting these. And that way when we space them out, they're all going to be, although they're relatively spaced out, just about right. So we're just connecting them to the shapes. And that's the last one. Now that they're all connected, we want to make sure that they're all in the same line. I'm going to hold down the Control, selecting all the items. I want to make sure they're all in the same line here. And I want to make sure that they're all horizontally spaced. Okay, that looks good. We've got all of our information here that we need for our menus. We're going to add in our icons. So I'm going to go Insert, Picture, this device. I've got some icons saved right in here. We're going to add them all. So I'm going to adding them all the ones that I've saved. I'm going to insert that. Okay, very good. I'm going to set them all height right around 0.3 or maybe a little bit bigger than that. I think we'll use a little bit, and then some of them will size a little bit smaller. Okay, so they're all sized right about 4.2. Now all we're going to do is just move them. This add new, I'm not going to use this just yet. We're going to use these add new. Okay, so we have this one. This is going to be used for our customers. So I'm going to bring this over here. That's our customers here. And then now what we want to have here is our printer. This one's going to be, we're going to use this a little bit later on. This one here with the $sign, that's going to be used for our purchases. So we'll drag that up over to purchases. Next up, I want this sales order, and we also have our dashboard. So we've got our dashboard icon right about here. We've got here, this is going to be our suppliers, so an icon for the suppliers. And we also have one check. This one's going to be used in our form, so I'll drag that over here. This one's going to be for our products. And lastly, we have for our sales order. Okay, that's looking really good. I like the way that that looks. Now we just want to make sure, again, everything gets lined up, and then we're going to give them very unique names. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line everything up just right, vertically, so that they're lined up vertically. Okay, I'm going to undo the selection tool right here. Now I want to give it a very specific name. It's important that we're going to name these. These are going to be called menu icon 1 and 2 and 3 and so on and so forth. So menu icon, and then I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to add a 1 to this. So this is going to be our first. Now keep in mind that the same number, this is going to be important. Menu icon has 8 characters plus the number. Menu item also has 8 characters, and that's important. Okay, so this is going to be called menu icon 1. This one's going to be called menu icon 2, and you can assume that what we're going to add for the rest. Now, this is very important then, because we don't know when we select a menu item, we don't know exactly what they're going to be selecting on, whether it's the button or the icon, but we want to extract that number from each one. So it's very important that we can extract the number, whether they're selecting on the icon or they're selecting on the button. Okay, so I've named each one menu icon 1, menu item, icon 2, and so on and so forth, all the way to the dashboard, menu icon 6, and menu item 6. Okay, everything looks really good. That's just the way I want it. Now, what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be selecting on these. Now, I want to group everything together, and I think that's really important so that it doesn't move. And we're going to be hiding and unhiding certain columns. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that that group, the menu along with the title, always stays in the same place and of course at the same size. So I'm going to select everything in my selection tool and I'm going to group it. And the next important thing is we're going to use Control 1 and we're going to make sure that the properties portion of this always does not move but size with cells. So we don't want it to size with cells, but we do want it to move. And that's for the whole group. Okay, so we can undo the selection tool. Now we've got our menu pretty much ready. So let's